The happiest Monday, everyone. Let's just close our eyes for a second and take a deep breath in. Deep, and out. And let's just set the intention for this week. May this week be a beautiful week for everybody, a productive week, a week with lots of profits, lots of money, lots of friends, lots of love, lots of health. A beautiful, wonderful week. Good weather. Everything beautiful. Okay, now that we have set our intention, let's get into the audio. We're going to be talking about texting. The reason why is because a lot of people struggle with this, and those people tend to be, of course, anxiously attached. You already know the psychology behind anxious attachment. We have explained it, well, I have explained it in a lot of audios, and I'm not going to repeat myself. If you don't know, you can search anxious attachment, anxiety, and you will find a lot of useful stuff there. Today, I just want to be talking about texting, okay? So we already know that you get attached to this texting process because you seek validation. You're not giving yourself that validation, you don't feel safe, and basically everything that's happening is just a trigger. So everything is about you, nothing is really about this person, but they are the trigger. So basically when somebody doesn't text back, when you're left on scene and just ghosted, blocked, whatever, it is basically a validation thing for you because you're taking it as I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not chosen. This person is not replying right away. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. So basically, this is this heightened sense of anxiety that's behind it. And the worst thing you can do, and I really want to say this, I know I say it all the time. When this happens, when you get anxious, when you get, just insecure, when you need that validation. So when anxiously attached people need that validation, they tend to, not everyone, but majority of them, they tend to text and text and text and text and text, seeking for that validation. And the thing is that they can't help themselves, right? So they have this thing where they just need to get that validation. And even if they start a fight or an argument, it is better than silence for them because they're engaging, something is happening, because they don't feel as abandoned as they do when there is this silence. So the worst thing you can do is send millions of texts attacking people or overly explaining yourself or begging or whatever is your thing, right? Everybody has their own, depending on a lot of stuff, because we can't generalize again. So it's not going to be the same for everyone, but the thing is validation. You seek validation, so you will text to get that validation. And people have different techniques. Some of them are even going to be mean. Some of them, are going to start a fight. There's all sorts of things that can happen here. We are not going to get into them because obviously they're very individual. But what is common, what is something that goes for everyone is that even if you are not a person that will text, you are a person that will feel very anxious if you don't receive that validation. And your whole day will be ruined and your mood, and you will just be, anxiously waiting for the text, hoping for the text, overthinking why this person is not texting, what's going on, why are they abandoning you. So that is the common thing. Obviously, by now you probably know, okay, you have anxious attachment, you do these things because of that, all of that. And the solution is clearly to work on yourself, to give yourself that validation. But that can be a process, obviously. It's not going to happen overnight. It can take, for some people, quite a long time, for some shorter. Doesn't really, again, I can't really generalize about timings here either. But it's not going to happen overnight, and it's going to have ups and downs. So even if some progress has been made, A trigger can put it all, to side, and you will, just get anxious again. So obviously, we're all human beings. Attachments are something that's difficult to resolve. It will go up and down, up and down. And basically, we are just looking for some solutions, what to exactly do when these things happen, because working on ourselves is a process. We're doing that. But right now, there is that scene, that scene, and you haven't received a text. Let's put it like that. So, whatever the situation may be, if it's an ex, if it's a new person, if it's your partner, even, and they're not replying, they have read the message, let's imagine the scenario, but this can go for different scenarios. Again, I have to pick one because I can't pick all of them. So, let's imagine that. Okay, let's imagine you have reconnected with somebody, could be an ex, could be, someone else that is a romantic interest of yours, and they have reached out to you because you have done the work. You have felt much more safer, much more secure, much more confident. You were in that nice grounded energy, and guess what, that message came, your spell is working, everything is doing well. And then you're texting, right? And you're so happy that it's happening. In the beginning, you're just euphoric about it. And then as texting progresses, let's say it's been like 2 days of texting, you're noticing that the replies are coming, later and later. You notice that the person is online and is not opening your message for like hours, and it's giving you anxiety because obviously you're getting triggered, okay? So another scenario can be that you've been speaking for 2 days and you have replied to their text, and you didn't just say haha or sent an emoji or lol. You actually did write a few sentences, and they have just seen it and they haven't replied anything. And it's like been 2 days and they just haven't replied. They just ended the conversation basically. And obviously, the anxious attachment is gonna get awakened. You're gonna get anxious. You're gonna get worried. You're gonna feel rejected. You're gonna feel abandoned. You're just not gonna be doing well. Your mood is gonna be ruined. You're gonna be spiraling back to the place you used to be at. What to do in situations like this? Okay, so when your magic starts working and when your person reaches out and you're like chatting, talking, very often what will happen is that all the progress will just kind of seem to go away that you made on yourself, right? Once they end the conversation, or once they, just stop replying as quickly, or whatever it is, it can be a billion of things. So this is something that happens commonly, obviously, and it's because your vibration is still not safe, secure. It hasn't been a long time since you have started working on yourself. So what to do? What to do when you start feeling insecure again, when you feel like, oh no, it's happening again, I am checking their status again. How can you help yourself? Of course, you will continue working on yourself, but at that moment, what can you do? So, a really good advice for those of you who tend to anxiously check if somebody is online, when was the last online, and then you kind of see, okay, they're not replying right away. They're online, but they're not replying right away. And then, of course, a million ideas pop in your head, thoughts. Are they maybe texting with somebody else? Is somebody else a priority? Is somebody else chosen? I'm not chosen. I'm a backup plan. They are bored of me. They're just like, annoyed with the conversation already. All of those things, right? So a very good thing to do is to just check the options you have. I don't know, depending on the app, obviously, and turn off the online status so you don't see when they're online, when they were last online. And it's really gonna help. It's really gonna help because you're no longer gonna be obsessing over it, checking on it, and it's gonna be so helpful. You're just not gonna know when they're online, and the messages will be coming, and it will be fine. So that is a very good thing you can do. And then if somebody just, stops replying, do not text again, right away. Do not be too eager. Do not be like that, because chasing and sending a bunch of texts and overly explaining yourself and all of that, the energy behind it is very unattractive. And therefore, that behavior as well comes off as very unattractive. And people are not really drawn to, neediness, desperation. Obviously, you aren't either, believe me. So you don't want to be doing that. Just let it be and ground yourself. Now, remind yourself, conversations need to end. It doesn't mean that they will not happen again. Nobody can have a conversation for forever, because it does get boring, and it's better to end it while it's still somewhat interesting than at the point where it's so boring that, you just lose every wish to participate. So conversations do need to end. And when you first reconnect with someone, in a lot of cases, not all cases, but in a lot of cases, it will be like a first step. It will just be something. They will reconnect. It doesn't mean that they will talk to you forever, or all of a sudden, reconcile or something like that. So you gotta be patient, and you gotta give them some space and time and all of that, and do your best with the conversation, obviously, but don't, try too hard. Don't do that, because you don't need to try hard. Remember, you're good enough as you are. So just let it be. Respect that the conversation has ended. Do not try to chase the person back into the conversation, because they ended it. They wanted to end it, and that's fine. You can also end it, by the way, when it, just gets. You can be the one that ends it. Anxious attached people, they tend to never end the conversation first. Maybe practice doing that, ending conversation first, and you're gonna see it's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's honestly no big deal. And then, it's okay even to reach out first again, obviously, if you feel grounded, if you have something to say and all of that. But it's very important not to do it out of neediness, and just because you need that validation. You need to continue this conversation just to get that validation. You don't want to do it like that. You don't want to do it right away. You want to be reasonable. So always ground yourself, remind yourself, this means nothing. It just means the conversation is finished. That's it. This person has not disappeared. This person did not stop thinking about you, forget you, move on, whatever. Find somebody else, choose somebody else, just because a conversation is finished. Remind yourself how silly all the anxiety over texting in general is, because it's just texting. And it became such a big deal, such a huge deal. It is just texting. Remind yourself of that. It's not that deep. It's not that important. It does not determine your mood or whether somebody likes you or doesn't. Just texting. So guys, seriously, if you have a problem where you're checking the online status, where you're obsessing over when somebody will reply, what somebody is doing, turn that off, and it will kind of really ease your anxiety. It honestly will. And if somebody ends a conversation, it's not the end of the world, right? It's just end of the conversation for now. And I'm gonna end this audio now as well. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. I hope you had a lovely weekend. Those of you who celebrated Easter, I hope you had a lovely time. I love you, and bye-bye.